Cape Cod Broadcasting weaves the listening environments of 99.9 WQRC, Ocean 104.7, WFCC Classical 107.5, Cape Country 104, and CapeCon.com's website experience to reflect the lifestyles of the people who live, work, and play on Cape Cod. We hope that you enjoy this podcast.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. We're talking about one of the premier events this time of year on Cape Cod, the St. Patrick's Parade in Yarmouth. I'm here in the studio with Johnny Fallon, co-chairman of the St. Patrick's Parade, and Tommy MacCormaic, committee member and one of the founders of the parade. Welcome to the show to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's start with telling people the where and when of this parade, because it doesn't fall on St. Patrick's Day, and it's a little early this year.
Right. It's Saturday, March 7th. Kicks off at 11 a.m. We'll start off at the Bass River Sports World, or Skull Island. And we are going to head west 2 miles all the way down to just about Higgins Crowell Road.
And why so early this year? Why not the weekend before St. Patrick's Day?
Well, we try not to compete with the other parades that are occurring during the month of March. Really, it's a battle for the bands. And, of course, Tom can talk to, when we were in our infancy, convincing bands to come down, and, we pay them, but... this idea of, in Tom's dream and a couple of others, of having a parade, it was met with a little skepticism. But, now bands are calling us. So, we've come a long way, baby.
You bet. And I want to get into the history a little later. But I wanted to talk about, we've had so much snow this winter. And do you think the streets will be clear in time for the parade? And what happens if it snows the week of the parade or even during the parade?
Well, we do have a couple of reindeer on standby with a sled for the Grand Marshal. So bring your skis, toboggans and ski mobiles, and we'll all get through it. It's if we were a sensible race of people, we would have I suppose, our parade in the summer, but being Irish, we decided to take the hard way out and have it in the middle of the winter,
Now, do you worry about the weather? I know in past years I've certainly been at this parade when it's been very cold. I don't quite remember a year when it's been this snowy.
Well, you know what? It's been cold. We've had some rain. One year we had torrential downpours. One year we had snow. But you know what? Hey, we're hardy New Englanders. We will march on, literally. And I'll tell you what, one thing that always stuck out in my mind was watching one of our Grand Marshals, Dick and Rick Hoyt, in the coldest day of all. And the Hoyts made that route, that 2-mile route. And you know what? God bless them. If the Hoyts can do it, we'll do it.
That's absolutely right. If they could do it, anyone could do it. Now, the parade, I remember, it used to start in Dennis and go over the Bass River Bridge, and now the whole thing is in Yarmouth. How did that all come about?
Well, it's with a couple of years, especially going over the bridge with the wind and some of the floats, and we had to make a decision at some point about the safety going over the bridge, and that we decided to move it in its entirety over into Yarmouth. Even on a nice day in March, when you got to the bridge, there was a considerable amount of wind. I think the Boy Scouts one year, the big flag that they carry, nearly took off with the Boy Scouts with them, so something like a Mary Poppins that. But it's so it was just quite simply that we knew if it was a real bad day and we have to have the parade on that day and there was high winds, we would not be able to go across the bridge.
Maybe a little more exciting than you want to have that day, to have people flying around.
No, we don't want that. It's a couple of years, some floats pulled out because they were worried about the head of the float. They, went to the effort to get down to the start. The wind picked up and they just packed the float up. They didn't want to take the chance of going across the bridge.
And now, what should people expect to see at this year's parade? What are the highlights?
Well, we've got we're blessed with some great bands. The Boston Police Gala Column, the Boston Fire, Bagpipe Band, the
Ancient Mariners.
Ancient Mariners is a group out of Connecticut. And now those are the men who are famous for marching barefoot on St. Patrick's Day for our parade. You'll see them. They're barefoot, regardless of the weather, even that cold, rainy year. There they were. They're dressed like sailors, and they look absolutely awesome. So you'll see them. We'll see, a lot of our local groups, the DUI Marching Band, and you'll get to see a lot of some floats that people really put their heart and soul into building. We'd love to see that. Of course, the people from Silver Cloud have this monstrous float that they put together every year, which is just unbelievable. And these are the things that make this parade ours and the residents of the Mid-Cape area. It's their people.
Yeah, and you're going to see the beautiful Cindy Fitzgibbon, who is our Grand Marshal this year. And then as Lord Mayor of the parade, we have Jonas Gray, one of the, what is he, Johnny, a linebacker?
Running back for of course, the Super Bowl champion Patriots. He's our mayor, of course, a former Notre Dame star.
What do you think people look forward to the most every year at this parade?
I think now, when you talk about the weather, the first 2 or 3 years we had the parade, we had good weather, which gave us a good solid foundation of turning it into an annual event for families. So when we're picking a Grand Marshal, we try to get somebody who will appeal to both parents and the kids. If the kids want to go out, the parents are going to make an effort to take them out. So that's and we've been very lucky over the years. We've had great Grand Marshals who can attract all generations to want to come out and see them. You have a lot of people coming down from Boston, south of Boston now. It's we've a very family orientated parade. It's clean, well run. There's no over
indulging.
No overindulging. If there is an 80-year-old woman having a can of beer on the side of the street, the local police aren't over busting her either. So it's just a nice family atmosphere about the whole day. And of course the weather, if it is inclement weather, you get a bit less people, but you still have that hardcore who come out every year. Last year we must have had probably about 40,000 people at the parade, because if you remember, it was really cold, and then it felt like it was 80 degrees the day of the parade because the sun came out for the first time in about 3 weeks.
So many people come out to this parade, as you say, 40,000 people last year. It's a huge amount of people, and I think some of it might be it's a long parade, so it is really an event. It's not a quick, you blink and it's over. You can be out there and it's going to take up a nice part of your day, and you can really spend time with your family.
You can, and then afterwards there's loads going on after. It's within the town. Then we have the Safe Ride Home programme, where it's a free taxi within the town of Yarmouth all the way through to 3 a.m. This year we have about 10 local businesses, 5 hotels, 5 restaurants, including the bowling alley and that, whereby we're going to have a shuttle bus going up and down constantly from 3 in the afternoon until 11 a.m, stopping at each of those hotels and businesses. So if you come down and stay at a hotel, you can, after the parade, get on that bus, go play bowling with your kids, go to another restaurant and back to your hotel. So we're trying to make it more of an all-day thing. There's great music on throughout the town that day, this, people always say, Yarmouth, it's the Cape Cod St. Patrick's Day parade. We're representing, all of the Cape on this. There's music in Dennis, Hyannis. People are coming from all over and going back then into their own wee villages, and hopefully there's entertainment of an Irish nature on for them there as well.
It's really a huge event for the whole region. As you say, people come from all the different towns on the Cape. This is the thing that's going on that weekend on Cape Cod. Are there any new or different things that people will see in the parade this year? Perhaps things that have never been in the parade, groups or floats?
I think we're pretty much.
Did you get the bicycle guys?
Yeah, we're actually trying to get the Cycling Murrays here, and they're a group that unicycles, and they had actually. It's funny, the people that call us and want to get in. So they're a pretty interesting group. That'll be fun. We've had the North End band out of the North End of Boston call us, and they were in it for a year, but I don't believe that they're in it this year.
The Minutemen will be back.
The Minutemen will be back. Yeah, it's kind of that's the nice thing about this parade too. Of course it's the Cape Cod St. Patrick's Parade, but I think you touched upon it too. It's a celebration of spring, and we want groups from all over the place to come and join us, to join in on this celebration of spring and be part of, everybody should be dusting off their shoulders, and we'll do our best to get the streets clean and prepare the town for it, but prepare the route. But we really welcome anybody that wants to come and celebrate spring. Tommy's right. The big thing that we're featuring this year are the trolleys. We kind of got that learned from people last year who said, wow, this was really great. From my hotel, I could really walk to several places with the kids in tow, and I didn't have to worry about driving. So the restaurants are expanding upon that with this trolley service. Basically, it'll run from the Hampton Inn Resort in West Yarmouth all the way down to the Riverway Restaurant in South Yarmouth. So it's really find a nice place to park your car and, come sample the different restaurants, come sample the different music, and you never have to get back in your car. And then, of course, later on at night, the free taxi service will take you from any restaurant or hotel in the town of Yarmouth to a home in Yarmouth, and that's free of charge. So, we're harping on safety. We're doing the best we can to keep it safe and to make it so that it's enjoyable for everybody without the worry of having to travel.
That's a wonderful aspect this year that people can they can come to the Cape, they can park their car, and then they don't need their car for the rest of the weekend to enjoy this event. I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. We're talking about what is one of my favorite events this time of year, the St. Patrick's Parade in Yarmouth. Now, Tommy MacCormaic, since we have you here and you're one of the founders of this event, can you tell us how this event first came about?
In a bar. And I think somebody says, why do we not have a St. Patrick's Day parade in Cape Cod? We did try it one year with Tommy McCann, God rest him, Terry Clan, Richie Reilly, and we get a knockback on the cost of the insurance, and then about 2 years after that was when we actually get everything put together.
Now, what year was that when you first started?
2005.
This is our 10th annual.
Well, okay. Yeah, so that was 2004, 2005, that's when we done it all in the town of Dennis with Cathy O'Toole, who was then the police commissioner in Boston, came down and led the parade. And if you look back and see how short that parade was and, how many bands we had in it to what we have grown into, it's actually amazing, It's and for us, when we were looking at it, Cape Cod, I think every town, with the exception of two, have a majority Irish American population, and it's just amazing that there was never a parade organised down here since those people started coming out of Boston and that in the 1930s, 40s down to the Cape.
And so you started it, as you said, in 2005. A bunch of you came up with the idea, sitting around a bar and saying we should have one of these. And then it's really grown every year. And as you say, it's been a slightly different route over the years.
It has. We've had, the first year was all in Dennis. The second year was all in Yarmouth. And then from year 3 up until last year, we went across the bridge. And it's, you always take a bit of heat when you move parades. Our objective is solely to have a parade. We have to pick what we feel is the best and safest route, which can never be interrupted, by weather. And I say we're just solely in it to have a parade, not get involved in local politics or anything like that. So it's it's a celebration of Irish heritage, Irish culture in America, which has been going on. The first ever St. Patrick's Day parade was actually held in the United States, wasn't in Ireland. It was in I do believe the 1760s, either in New York or Boston, because it was illegal for Irish people to congregate in Ireland. It was illegal for Irish people to wear the colour green in Ireland or profess any form of Irishness. So when they came to the United States of America, they found they had freedom to actually organise and do this. And it's, when I was growing up in Ireland, St. Patrick's Day parades were minimal. It was outside your chapel on the 17th of March. The local flute band played a couple of songs, and basically that was it.
Interesting. And what year did you come to Cape Cod?
1998.
Okay, all right. And so you started looking around a few years later and said, "Where's the parade?" So
no, that's official or unofficial. Yeah. No, I'd been coming to the Cape since the early 90s. My Italian wife is from Cape Cod, so okay. I knew there was no parade.
Okay, and now because you have the title of co-founder. Who are considered the other co-founders?
Oh, no, if I miss somebody here, I'm in trouble. There was Tommy McCann, who's now deceased. There was Terry Clan, Richie Reilly, Richie Sayers, Mairead McCann, Jerry Manning, Chief Whelan out of Dennis. And I know I'm going to miss somebody.
Okay.
But there was probably about 12 to 15 of us who got together. The first year we pulled it off, I remember, was Chief Mike Whelan out of Dennis was very instrumental, because he obviously had knowledge about what you had to apply for in regards to permits and all the rest of it, and really got us off on the right footing to, educate us is what we had to do.
Well, and of course, that was probably critical, where you happened to somehow you talked a police chief with being on board right at the beginning. So kudos to you. That was a smart move.
No, and Mike, he just retired, I think, this year. Man, very proud of his Irish American heritage. Came from Hartford, where they have a big parade, so he knew, what we needed to, go for. We were just uneducated in that regard,
Now, one thing I always think of this parade as, it's a parade that really has a sense of humor. People wearing green, the dogs are green, people are wearing funny costumes. Is that really a signature of this parade?
I think
so.
It's the families. That's what we love to see. The families that come out and the kids. It's really a joy to watch to march in the parade, because you get to see all the spectators. And we know there are different groups along the route now that we anticipate as people that are marching in it, because you just never know what they're going to do. And of course, we may be putting a call out shortly to ask them to get out there maybe a few days in advance and carve out their spot. It might be a matter of decorating. Maybe they can get some green paint and decorate their seat in the snow. But we may need that. We may need a little bit of help from our staunch supporters.
So there may be a call out to the public, because I know people do like to get their spots early for this particular event.
No, say that where we had been for 8 years, they had made their spots. I think the biggest losers out of that were the people where we started the parade in Dennis, the Murphys, and because they just came out and their whole family came down from Boston, sat in their backyard and watched the start of the parade. Right. But you see the same people. Last year I thought was brilliant, because it had been so cold, miserable. That day was gorgeous, and people were just out sitting on the footpaths all day long. Seemed like there were people out there for 2-3 hours after the parade, just sitting enjoying life.
Now, in the last minute or so that we have here, anything else you'd like to add about the parade, or a last word to our listeners about when and where?
Well, we have to, also thank the Town of Yarmouth Preservation Fund, because they have helped us grow. They give us a grant this year, John, of how much?
Just around $20,000.
To advertise and promote the parade off Cape, to try and entice more people to come down, stay in the local hotels, and, obviously, bring money into our own locality.
We rely a lot on local businesses, too, who support us. We have several corporate sponsors and a whole bunch of other local craftsmen who help. A big thing for us is this is our 10th year. We've had people who have been on the committee for a long time. We are going to be looking for anybody who's interested in helping us with next year's parade. But you know what? It's like everything else. We're looking for workers, not committee wannabes. So anybody who's willing to roll up their sleeves and do a lot of work, we'd love to have you. We encourage people to please go to our Facebook page and like it. The social media has been quite a boom for us. So please go to our Facebook page, Cape Cod St. Patrick's Parade, and like us, and we'll keep that up to date. And then through that, you can contact us if you are interested in joining this committee of about 20 people. And but we're looking for parade workers. Right?
Or large donations, and we'll put your name in the book.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I'm sure you'll get an awful lot of likes. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We've been talking about a really fun event, the Cape Cod St. Patrick's Parade in Yarmouth, taking place on March 7th. Thank you so much, Johnny Fallon and Tommy MacCormaic, for being here with me today.
Thank you.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal.
This podcast is a presentation of Cape Cod Broadcasting, which is solely responsible for its content. Thank you for listening. For more information, please visit us at capecodbroadcasting.com.